to find a store near you.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
One more time. Mary, it is a Monday.
It is a Monday on a Wednesday.
It's a Monday on a Wednesday.
Okay, well that's all right. That happens. It must be all the rain.
It could be all the rain or
mucking things up, or just
salespeople not getting their orders in on time and ads start today. Oh,
there you go. And so you're bailing people out is what you're doing on the side. Okay, I heard you're recording some ads in there. So, well, anyway, here we are. It's middle of the work week. Oh my goodness, holy rain yesterday, right?
2 inches.
2 inches. Wow. Well, that's great. We needed it. It came pretty slow and steady all day, right?
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want those soakers.
Right.
You don't want, okay, we're going to get 2 inches in an hour.
Right. That doesn't work very well. Yeah. So I can imagine, though, getting into the fields and that sort of thing going to be pretty muddy here for a while.
You hope that they got everything in. You hope that the plants are emerged.
Yes, that would be great. And I see all of this road construction just beginning. Oh. Much of it just began like this last week, like a week ago.
Yeah.
And so they start tearing up the roads, they get it all down to the dirt, and then we get 2 inches of rain. Oh my goodness, just going to be mud everywhere. We had to run to Fargo yesterday and was doing some driving around within Fargo. And I just feel like I have become a magnet for road construction, and perhaps everyone does, because 'tis the season. I mean, and it is everywhere. And I felt like every street I needed to be on to get to yesterday, I had several stops I needed to make, drop things off, pick things up. And it seemed like every single street that I had to turn on was down to one lane or stop and go traffic. Even 94 eastbound yesterday through Fargo was stop and go. We got off on University and took 52 home. I said, I can't sit in this anymore. So anyway, took the long way home, but it was a lot. I would rather drive 10 extra miles and drive than sit.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably dumb, but that's me.
I remember I went up to Fargo with one of our salespeople who went to college there and knows the area really, really well. And we were looking at the eastbound I-94, and for some reason it was all backed up.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
This was like a couple years ago.
Okay.
And so we couldn't figure out why it was all backed up. And so we got what we needed in Fargo, and we started heading back, and sure enough, it was all backed up. So he took all the side highways and stuff until we got into Barnesville.
Yeah, that's what we did too. So we went, and if you go south on University, then you can go east on 52nd Avenue, and it takes you right to 52.
Yeah.
So
I think that's probably what
that's
he did.
A good way home. And then we went to Barnesville and got on the interstate there. But it might, I don't know if it was extra miles. You're going the right direction the whole way. So anyway, but it wasn't stop and go. I just can't stand that. And if and we've seen Fargo traffic change dramatically.
Oh yeah.
Over the years. You couldn't give me that. I could not drive in that every day.
Well, I mean, the cities, think of that.
Oh, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. And I'm so glad I live where I live, because I could not tolerate that kind of traffic every day. Just couldn't do it.
I get annoyed with Fergus traffic.
Me too. I sure do.
The other day I was on my way out here, and I got behind somebody going 20 miles an hour to 30, and I was about ready to lose it.
I did that yesterday. I followed somebody on a city street through town, going about 15 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I finally, I suppose it's illegal, and Hopefully they won't come and arrest me for it, but I passed them. I couldn't do it.
I've done that before.
Yeah. So,
and then, like this morning, I'm at the big snarl that is Lincoln Union, that stoplight, that left turn. Okay, it turns green.
Go.
And we're all sitting there. I'm like, there's 2 cars in front of me. Which one of you is a moron?
I know.
And about 10 seconds. I mean, it almost turned, the arrow had almost turned yellow before.
Yeah.
The person in front of me just laid on their horn.
Oh, boy.
And finally got that person, because they're probably looking at their phone or doing something stupid, like, I'm in the front line, da-da-da-da-da. It's just like, come on,
That's what you're doing. Pay attention. Yeah. I know. I'm super impatient with that kind of stuff. Because you just have to be a courteous driver.
I'll give you a 5 count that I'm hitting the horn.
Okay.
But I was far enough back, I didn't want to hit the horn, but the person in front of me took care of it.
Okay. All right. Well, sooner or later, someone's going to do that. Boy, somebody laid on the horn at us yesterday, and this happened to be in Fargo. And we were trying to make a left-hand turn, and the left-hand turn number turned green. Yeah. But there were people behind, and they were just laying on the horn. I thought, what can you do? We ended up just going straight and then he was making some hand gesture out the window. I mean, I'm like, wow, aggressive driving, just relax. We probably took 4 or 5 seconds off his day. So anyway, people are mean when they drive sometimes. Oh boy. Well, a lot going on, as there is every day in the news.
Yep.
Yesterday we had that story about a high school girl athlete who missed, she had a school record, she had a personal record, but there was a transgender, a boy.
There's a boy.
Who competed against her and beat her by 4 feet in the long jump. Well, clearly that is the difference between boys and girls in the long jump. So anyway, that was a big deal, and everyone supported this girl and said, you have the school record.
Yep.
In our eyes, you got first here today. Well, there's another story in the news kind of on that same vein, and this is about that. You might have remembered this. She was a state representative, or is, from Maine. Her name is Laura Libby. Now she is allowed to vote for her constituents after she was censured for 3 months. Thanks to a 7-2 Supreme Court decision yesterday. So here's what happened. The state's Democrat majority voted to strip her of her voting rights in February for making a social media post that called out a biological trans athlete who won a girls' pole vault competition. You might remember this story. She fought a legal battle to overturn it all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it paid off with Tuesday's decision. So now she is uncensored. Can you believe it? They took away her right to vote because she, did a social media post.
Social media post where here in Minnesota you can break in and commit burglary and you're just fine.
Exactly right. I saw another proud moment for Minnesota that the governor is allowing pot sales from reservations outside the reservation. So they can grow it, they can sell it, they can have their own dispensary, and they can have it all over the state if they want. So, good for the governor. He just wants pot available in every corner.
Yep.
And I don't know why that is such a big deal. Why we are working so hard to legalize drugs in the state of Minnesota. I don't get it.
Well, they're already legalized.
Well, I know they are. I know, but where the dispensaries are, legalizing where they can sell. And certain cities are able to say, we don't want that in our city. But
they got to be a small city.
Yeah, they do. But it happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like there's bigger fish to fry in Minnesota than making sure that everybody has their hands on pot.
Any population over 12,000 has to have one.
Oh, they have to have one?
They have to have the ability to give out a license if somebody wants a license.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's important.
Yep.
That should be a have to for the state of Minnesota.
Yep.
Really? We got some big things to clean up in Minnesota. This is not one that we should be fighting for. Unbelievable. Anyway, President Trump announced the selection of an architectural design for what he is calling a Golden Dome. It's a missile defense system, much like Israel has. to safeguard the United States. The budget package being finalized by Republicans includes an initial $25 billion for the project, with a projected total cost of $175 billion. Now, those are big bucks. The system is expected to be operational before the end of Trump's term. Now, if they could go with that kind of speed to turn around this whole air traffic control situation.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more worried about the air traffic than I am getting nuked.
Yeah, I know I ask this question every day, but I just don't quite understand how a system like air traffic control was allowed to become so antiquated over the years. Why?
And then, like, there was no word of it until Trump was.
Yeah, I don't understand what's been happening. Like, I mean, we have to update our phones every 3 months, for heaven's sakes. Yeah. But we let the whole air traffic control system slide. I don't get that. Maybe there's a great explanation someplace. I've not heard it yet, but anyway.
The explanation is it's expensive, and they pushed it down the road, and finally they found a cliff.
Yep. We can't kick that can any further down the road. All I can say is I'm sure glad Pete Buttigieg is no longer in control. Yeah. Because this would be a worse situation then. Let's see what else we have for you today. How about this one? NFL owners, I'm sure you saw this yesterday, player participation, they are approving player participation in flag football in the 2028 Olympics, which will debut in Los Angeles. The move creates avenues for NFL players to compete internationally, with the potential for one player per NFL roster to be selected for their national team for flag football. The decision aligns with the interest expressed by players, including Patrick Mahomes wants to play a little flag football in the Olympics. What's your favorite event again? Breakdancing.
Yeah, break.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, flag football, probably right up there, but I suppose it'll be very popular because all the right people will be there, on the team.
At least in flag football, they don't do the little Tyrannosaurus or the kangaroo though.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have. The maintenance worker. We told you it was an inside job.
Oh, it had to be.
Yep. So maintenance worker, his name is Sterling Williams at the Orleans Parish Justice Center in New Orleans, was arrested for allegedly facilitating the escape of 10 inmates, including 4 charged with second-degree murder. Williams reportedly shut off water to a toilet, enabling the escape by allowing inmates to break it and exit. So it was like behind a toilet, and they were able to, put a hole in the wall.
And it wasn't just a toilet; it was like a toilet sink combo.
Yeah,
so it was a lot bigger than just a toilet.
Right. So there were already exposed holes there, and I suppose then they did the rest of the job. Yeah. But anyway, 4 other jail employees were also suspended. So there's some help on the inside. However, I saw a report this morning that said that this man that has been arrested so far, the others have been suspended. But the one arrested maintains that they were threatening him.
Yeah, they threatened to shank him.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you do in that situation? So that's that. Let's see. U.S. health officials investigating a new salmonella outbreak, and it's linked to cucumbers. From Florida's Bedner growers. I better look at all my cucumbers because, man, I buy a lot of cucumbers. At least 26 people across 15 states have been affected. 9 have been hospitalized. The outbreak follows a previous incident in 2024 involving the same grower. So, again, that is Bedner growers. I don't know if we can get a hold of any of that around here or not. Consumers are advised to discard potentially contaminated cucumbers. Oh, gosh, I hate to throw away my cucumbers, but if you have like a bag of those mini ones or something, check that out for the name Bedner Growers.
Bedner Growers.
Yeah, if you see that, you wanna toss those out. They go bad so fast. Anyway, if you don't eat them like practically the first day you have them.
If you don't eat them or pickle them.
Exactly. So maybe somebody knows how to extend the life of those little mini cucumbers. If you do, I'd love to know. We had a listener tell us about strawberries, putting strawberries in a mason jar. And she sent me a picture of the strawberries that she'd had in a mason jar for like 10 days or 2 weeks, and they were perfect. Oh. So evidently that works. So now if we can find a fix to hang on to the cucumbers before they get slimy. That would be great. I could use that info. All right, let's see. Did you think you could transplant just about everything? When we come back, we'll tell you about California surgeons completing the first ever human bladder transplant. Never heard of that before. And what do you think about going on a date and using a coupon? We'll talk about that. Very important. When we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
This is Ryan Welly with the Fergus Falls Monument Company. When you're thinking about a memorial for your loved one, I invite you to stop in and see our large selection of memorials on display. The memorial you choose is crafted for you right here locally with an everlasting warranty. That means it's perfect, now and forever, guaranteed. Call or stop into Fergus Falls Monument or visit us online at foreverstonememorials.com. Memorials that matter.
Community is important, and you'll find it at Pioneer Point. Spacious apartments, thoughtfully designed for older adults, provide the best in senior living. Heated parking and elevator access makes life easy. Your neighbors at Pioneer Point hold a welcoming, family-like approach to living. Choosing from an array of special features and options, you'll find many ways to define your lifestyle at Pioneer Point. Call or schedule your tour online today at pioneercare.org.
I'm having a really hard time lately, and I'm worried no one will understand what I'm going through.
I feel so alone. I wish there was somebody I could talk to.
If you're looking for support, Mental Health Minnesota is here for you, with connections to others who have also struggled with their mental health and can provide support and resources. Services are anonymous, confidential, free of charge, and open 7 days a week. Connect today at mentalhealthmn.org or call 855-HERE-FOR-MN today. Sponsored by Mental Health Minnesota, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If shore lunches and backstraps are a main part of your diet, then we've got a radio show for you. Sporting Journal Radio. It's the Midwest's radio home for the outdoors. I'm Brett Amundson, and I'll get you caught up on the latest hunting, fishing, and outdoor information each week with tips from guides, biologists, and wild game cooks. Tune in to Sporting Journal Radio.
Catch Sporting Journal Radio Saturday mornings at 8:06 on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the new Fergus Now app on your phone.
Kick off your summer right with big seasonal savings at Fleet Farm. Kingsford 16-pound 2-packs of charcoal briquettes are just $17.99. Suffolk's braided fishing line is only $7.99 a spool. And get a free $25 gift card with every $100 you spend on select Columbia apparel and footwear. For more of the hottest summer specials at the best prices guaranteed, stop by your local Fleet Farm or check out our weekly ad at fleetfarm.com.
KBRFradio.com is your online home for News Talk 1250 KBRF. You'll find the latest in local and national news, plus sports, and you can podcast or stream live. That's at KBRFradio.com.
You never quite know when the next storm is going to strike. And all it takes is for a little hail to ruin a perfect crop. But you can protect yourself with a hail insurance policy through Egg Country Farm Credit Services. The insurance professionals at Egg Country can help you customize a policy that will fit your farming operation. Protect your revenue today by contacting your local Egg Country office. Egg Country. Focused on ag, focused on you.
Markets this hour brought to you by Ag Country Farm Credit Services, a customer-owned cooperative.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets moving higher here this morning. Soybeans now trading 9 to 10 higher, and we're penny to 3 higher in the corn. Wheat trading 6 to 7 cents higher. Corn Belt marketing analyst Sam Hudson says weather is getting the attention of traders here today.
Concern about the wet weather across I-70 corridor. You got southern Missouri, southern Illinois, parts of Kentucky, and the Ohio Valley that are really wet still. Last month, some of these areas have seen 12 to 15 inches of rain. And so, it's a double prong, concern. It's one, how is it affecting the crops that already are planted? Because Missouri was one of those first states that really got in and got a lot of work done. But secondarily, what's left to plant out there? And despite the fact that numbers on the whole are on or ahead of pace, according to NASS here Sunday, we still had about 45 million acres to plant out there, about 20 million corn and probably 45 or so million beans. And the states that stand out to me, Randy, are Illinois. You got almost 3 million acres of corn left to seed in the southern part of that state.
Well, on the livestock side, the cattle market waiting for the cash trade to develop.
Cash trade's kind of quiet to start the week, but we did see some bids at 219, and so when you look at June futures at 213, it doesn't boast that you should be in there selling it. However, we do have a cattle on feed report here on Friday, and that could help set the stage for the convergence to that contract over the next month. I think, one of the bright spots here, long-term, big picture, is the fact that the Northern Plains are getting some rains out of some of these systems, and that's one of the critical factors we need for herd expansion. We have to, especially as pricey as everything is. So, keep an eye on that here long-term. If we get enough capitulation or a headline on this Mexico thing midsummer.
You're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
The key to getting the most from Liberty Ultra begins with the acronym START.
The S in START stands for weed size. Let's make sure we're targeting weeds that are less than 3 inches. T stands for timing. Let's make sure we're avoiding spraying late into the evening and avoid spraying real early in the morning. A stands for AMS, 3 pounds of AMS per acre. That's a minimum. R stands for rate and residuals. Let's make sure we're using an effective rate of Liberty Ultra as well as adding residuals to the tank. T stands for 20 and tips. So 20 gallons per acre of water. Let's make sure we're using the right tip or nozzle.
Liberty Ultra from BASF.
Unique farming operations need unique financial solutions. Ag Country Farm Credit Services offers customized financing that fits any size farm, ranch, or agribusiness. The next time you're in the market for more land, equipment, facilities, or maybe even an operating loan, contact the team at Ag Country. They know agriculture and will work for you. Ag Country. Focused on ag, focused on you. Ag Country is an equal opportunity lender.
Be listening for the Sugar Beet Report Thursdays at 12:50 on most of these Red River Farm Network stations. Each week, we'll talk with industry representatives, agronomists, and extension specialists and get the latest update on the sugar beet crop. The Sugar Beet Report Thursdays at 12:50 right here on the Red River Farm Network. Brought to you by Amity Technology, Beta Seed, Spinaid from Belgium, USA, Vive Crop Protection, and Gowan Company.
Dedicated, dependable, and delivering the information you need. It's Don Wick.
The response from ag groups has been lukewarm at best.
Randy Conan.
The popularity of biofuels has helped create more demand for crops.
Jamie Dickerman.
Nitrogen prices continue to tick higher.
And Tyler Donaldson.
A weather system is set to move into the region beginning tomorrow.
Whether it's happening in the farm field or the halls of Congress, we deliver the information that impacts you and your business. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
In Minneapolis, July wheat 8 cents higher, 6.05 3/4. Chicago, July wheat's up 8 cents. Kansas City, July wheat also 8 cents higher. July corn 3 1/4 higher, 4.57 3/4. New crop December up 4 cents at 4.52 1/2. July soybeans 12 1/4 higher, 10.65. November 13 1/4 higher, 10.54 3/4. In Winnipeg, July canola is down 30 cents a metric ton, 7.18 even Canadian. June live cattle 7 cents higher, 2.1325. August 7 cents higher. August feeder cattle down 60 cents at 296.92. September down 70 cents. June hogs are down 7 cents at 99.95. July down 7 cents. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Ready for your brand to make waves in our community? We believe marketing has the power to build meaningful connections, leading to measurable growth. And we're determined to be your partner in cutting through the noise. We are Leighton Media. And when it comes to your brand, our promise is to utilize every available option to amplify your business. Ready to make an impact? Connect with Leighton Media today. Our team is ready to work for you. Leighton Media, your success starts here.
It is that time of the season, so you might want to tackle projects and treat yourself with FergusFallsDeals.com. From Lakeshore Services for major home upgrades to Atlas Outdoors for landscaping. And get it done for less. Frame your favorites at Beyond the Mitered Corner. Refresh your space with garden pleasures and flour mill certificates. Shop big, shop local at FergusFallsDeals.com. At FergusFallsDeals.com.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without... Can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 30 for lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
If you're building a new house or shop this summer, Easy Open Garage Door in Fergus Falls is here to help you pick the right garage door for your new build. Call today for a free estimate. Commercial or residential, make it easy with Easy Open Garage Doors. Call 218-770-DOOR.
I once booked a venue that was a logistical nightmare. Too far from the hotels and too hard to find. It made our entire event feel rushed and stressful. That's why I decided to try the Bigwood Event Center. Being right off the interstate and a hotel on site, it made travel easy for everyone. They took care of all the setup and cleanup, letting me focus on my presentation instead of the details. It made our event run so much smoother, and I'll never go back to the old ways. Meetings with impact begin at bigwoodeventcenter.com.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Tackle those lawn patch and repair jobs with help from Menards. Scott's Easy Seed Patch and Repair Mix is a blend of mulch, seed, and fertilizer, making it perfect for sunny or shady areas. Save big money on Scott's Easy Seed Patch and Repair Mix now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone as we go through. Today, more rain. Just what we needed. Looking at about a quarter to a half an inch left for today and into tonight. 48 for our high, 39 once again for our low tonight. Finally warming up tomorrow, mostly sunny, dry. That's the key. We're going to be dry. 64 for our high on Thursday, 64 Friday. More rain off and on back at us here Saturday night, Sunday, Monday. 65 for Saturday's high, 66 Sunday, Monday up around 69. Actually make Monday dry, mostly sunny, so it should be a good one. Right now, Fergus Falls, we've got a little bit of mist in the air and 43. Morning Talk brought to you this morning and every morning by our good friends over at Pioneer Care and at Fergus Monument.
Well, I have one more baseball game to attend tonight, so dress warm, right?
Dress warm.
Okay. But at least the rain will be done, right? Hopefully?
Hopefully. Where's the game?
In Fergus.
At Legion?
At Legion, yeah.
Well, at least you've
yeah,
got
there's some cover there, yeah. But going to still be chilly.
It's going to be chilly, and it's going to be wet. And
yeah. Okay, well, one more game, and I think there's one more track meet, but that one is out of town, and I'm unable to get there. So I think that will be the end of spring sports. I know our kids take finals one more day today and one more day tomorrow, and then they're done.
Oh, wow.
Graduation this weekend, so... so they're looking forward to their last 2 days of finals. This last week always a little stressful with all those tests, but...
And speaking of, school coming to an end, that means the aquatic center is going to open up.
Oh, my goodness.
We are looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I just don't have a lot of reason to get over to that part of town. But let's see, somebody played, must have been Claire. Oh, she played in a volleyball tournament over there a couple Saturdays ago. And so that caused us to go over to Kennedy and, oh my goodness, drove by there. I mean, I have not been paying attention to that going up. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. We're going to Derek and I are going to get early access and we're going to...
How fun.
We're going to get video.
Are you going to jump in the pool?
No.
What? You have early access, and you're not going to jump in the pool.
We get early media access. We're going to.
I think somebody should jump in the pool.
We were joking about that. I asked Mayor Hicks when I had him on a couple weeks ago. I said, so Anthony, are you going to put on the red Speedo and do like the ceremonial first run of the slide? He goes, I'm not a fish.
I think somebody needs to do that. Who's going to be first to jump in the pool?
We'll set Miles up with that. We'll put Miles. We'll put Miles in a red Speedo and have him go down.
Let's not go that far. Let's keep this family entertainment. But I really want somebody to jump in the pool.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good idea. Well, we'll see how that goes. I probably won't get my wish, but
no. But yeah, I mean, the main thing we're there is we want to get a lot of video and a lot of photos of the facility, and we don't want a whole bunch of kids to be running around in swimsuits. So I'm like, Andrew, can we get like early access before there's anybody allowed out there? And he's like, not a problem.
Yeah,
totally understand. So we're gonna.
Well, all the more reason, since there's video, all the more reason for someone to jump in the pool.
I think I'm going to get my little GoPro. It's waterproof, so I'm going to have that go down the slide.
I think that would be fun. All right. We teased this just before the break, that in California, we've heard of just about every organ being able to be transplanted.
Yep.
California surgeons have successfully completed the first ever human bladder transplant.
Now, when I read about that, I was kind of curious. Like, well, is that really needed? And then they said giving hope to cancer survivors. I'm like, well, I suppose, bladder cancer.
Right, exactly.
That'd be a huge issue.
Exactly. This man lost most of his bladder due to a tumor, received a new organ on May 4th, and doctors say that following the surgery, the kidney was able to make a large volume that drained into the bladder, and it seemed like everything would work. The procedure could help those, as you mentioned, with bladder cancer in the future. So that's a big deal for people who are undergoing cancer treatments for bladder cancer, and there's plenty of that out there, and so that's cool.
Anything that can help cancer patients.
Absolutely. And a sad note, one of our favorite people ever, George Wendt, Norm from Cheers, passed away. He was only 76. If you saw some of his later photos, he looked an awful lot older than 76. So I don't know what was going on with him, but he was beloved as an actor. He was a beloved family man. They said that the guy that you saw on screen, the kind, tender, funny guy, was just exactly the guy he was in real life.
And that's stuff you like to hear.
Sure is. Most famous for his role as Norm Peterson on Cheers. George was a doting family man, a well-loved friend, and a confidant to all those lucky enough to have known him. That came from a representative for his family in a statement. He will be forever missed. He started in Chicago's renowned Second City. That's that's where a lot of comedians get their start. And Wendt's career included iconic shows like Taxi and MASH. So he's been on some of the good ones.
Wow, I didn't know he was on Taxi and MASH.
I did not either. And then, of course, all of that before solidifying his place as Norm, at which he earned 6 Best Supporting Actor nominations at the Emmys. In addition to Cheers, Wendt appeared in films such as Fletch, another good, funny one.
I love that one.
And The Little Rascals, and made memorable cameos on Saturday Night Live multiple times. He was also on Seinfeld from time to time and The Simpsons. He is survived by his wife, Bernadette Burkett, who he also met at Second City. So they have been married for a long time. So there are some favorites, So Norm, if you're not familiar with Cheers, Norm was the lovable beer-drinking guy at the end of the bar. And every time he walked into Cheers, he'd say, "Hey, everybody," and everybody in the whole bar would say, "Norm." And it was just iconic.
Yeah.
The writers of Cheers, I think, are just amazing writers. And he even said that. He said, here's a job where you get to sit at the end of a bar, drink beer, and deliver the funniest lines that people gave me. And he said it was the best role of his life.
Do you remember what his job was? on Cheers.
Yeah, he was a salesman of some kind.
I thought he was an accountant.
Oh, you're right. He was an accountant. You are right. He was an accountant. But anyway, one of my favorite lines, they said, he walked in and everyone said, Norm. And Sam, the bartender, said, hey, Norm, what's shaking? And he said, all 4 cheeks and a couple of chins. He's got those were they would say Norm, and then it was his first line that he would deliver. That was always hilarious.
Yeah, they'd set him up like, hey, what do you know? What's shaking? What's going on?
Yeah.
Say something.
Yep, he was absolutely hilarious. But you could tell that there was this kind person, even on screen.
Yeah.
And turns out he was just that nice a guy in real life. Like you said, you love to hear that. So anyway, George Wendt, Norm from Cheers, passed away at 76. Sad. Yeah. His, what's Sam's name, the bartender?
Sam Malone? Ted Danson?
Ted Danson. He said, I just don't know how I'll get over this. He said he was an awfully good friend. And boy, they spent a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they had an absolute blast working on that show. Yeah. Okay, so the other thing we're going to talk about, is it okay to take somebody out on a date and use a coupon? Would you do that?
I would not on a first date. However, I will say this, though. My wife is so frugal that, quite honestly, that'd be a turn on if I used a coupon.
That would be the deal breaker. She'd say, that's it. This is my guy, right?
She'd be like, so you're saving some money there?
Yeah, I like that guy. More than half of people say that using coupons on a first date.
First date, I would not.
Is acceptable. Acceptable.
No.
61% cite, being frugal as an attractive trait, and in a partner. I don't know.
First date, the big question is, do you think there's going to be a second date? Because if you realize that there's not going to be a second date, save some money.
Yeah, use the coupon. Anyway, the data shows that today's daters aren't looking to be swept off their feet by spending.
No.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I get that. Anyway, and says, in this economy, being frugal isn't just practical, it's an attractive sign of long-term potential.
Hey, babe, I got this great Groupon.
And it depends on what the coupon is. I mean, if you're going to save $3, I would say stuff it in your pocket.
Buy one, get one.
If you had come to deals.com,
FergusFallsDeals.com.
and you were saving
money there,
$25 on that meal, that's being frugal, that's being smart.
I will say this, one of the biggest, when Sue Tate was gone, I dealt with the Fergus Falls Deals, and one of the big things that went out the door were our Spankies certificates.
We just used 2 of them last week. We love to go there. Yeah. So anyway, okay, here's a crazy story in the news. And I'm sure there is video of this out there somewhere. A clip of a young woman removing makeup at the Shanghai airport has recently gone viral. So, yep, there it is. You can find it. The clip shows the would-be traveler using wet wipes to clear her face because she did not look like the photo on her ID. They told her this: wipe everything off your face until you look like your passport photo. Now, and then they asked her, why would you do your makeup like that? You are just asking for trouble at the airport.
I have run into people that I've seen that I'm like, why did you do that to yourself?
Well, it's unclear if the woman was eventually allowed to travel. However, some commenters questioned how good the facial recognition technology was if it couldn't recognize her with some makeup on.
I don't think there was some makeup.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there was a lot of makeup.
Maybe there was. I don't know. But, I mean, you do kind of want to look like your passport photo.
Yeah.
So maybe when you have your passport photo taken, you should wear the makeup or do what you're going to do, something that you do every day. You do want to look like your passport photo.
Yeah, especially when they're trying to verify that you are you.
Anyway, we'll have to go on and look at that and see how crazy her makeup was to see if that was really a deal. NBC going to launch a new show. It's called Win-Win. And it is a game show that offers both in-studio contestants and viewers
Oh, nice.
to win prizes. There's a few of those out there. I think you can play
Wheel of Fortune.
Yep. On as the show goes on. Anyway, show is making its international debut with NBC Universal licensing the show globally. It will feature 40 in-studio participants answering trivia questions. This is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they are derived from a nationwide survey, and viewers can join in via an app for a chance to win prizes alongside the on-screen players.
I'd enjoy that.
So this comes around, you got to do this.
The show that I really liked that they just wrapped up the season was The Floor. Have you ever seen that?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it. I am not a game show watcher.
It basically, there's 100 people, the 100 squares, and you kind of take over everybody's squares when you answer questions. And they bring them up, and it's like head-to-head. And it'll be like a category, and it'll be like cars, and they'll show photos of cars, and you got to name what kind of car it is.
Okay, I would be
what
good
kind
at
of
that.
celebrity, what kind of this, but it's all photos, and so
Okay.
you got to quickly name. And it's kind of like chess; it goes back and forth until your time
And you're
runs out.
the human chess piece kind of thing. Yeah,
And it's well, I mean,
that's pretty clever.
yeah. I thought it was going to be stupid, but I watched an episode. And I'm like, I could watch this.
Yeah. Well, they say that this is going to be kind of a fresh, high stakes kind of a new game, and giving viewers and contestants alike a chance to walk away winners. So why not? I think once that hits the airwaves, I think that is something you have to do because you're really good at trivia. Speaking of.
Oh, we got trivia?
Yeah, we do. I'm going to give you this first. I mean, this first one is hardly worth asking. What is the state fruit of New York?
The state fruit of New York is the apple.
Yes. What is the state fruit of Utah? A little harder.
The state fruit of Utah is give me one more second here. Ooh, I'm gonna say apple.
Yeah, it doesn't go with Utah at all. The cherry.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that should be like
Wisconsin.
Washington. Well, somewhere else. I mean, where they, I don't know. New York or Utah? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay, there's something going on that is going to be kind of fun. Oscar Mayer has announced the first ever Weenie 500.
So that's real? I thought that was a joke when I read
No,
that.
it's for real. It is a race featuring all of the iconic Wienermobiles. They're all going to get together. They're coming together from across the country. The race will take place this Friday, May 23rd at 2 p.m. That is Eastern Time at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 6 Wienermobiles, each representing a different part of the country, will take each other on to see who the true wiener will be. The regional racers include the Chi Dog, the New York Dog, the Slaw Dog, the Sonoran Dog, the Chili Dog, and Seattle Dog. They're all coming together to race on Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. No word on where.
Have you ever experienced the Wienermobile?
I have not. You have, right?
I have. My dad, it was like his goal in life to get one of those little wiener whistles. Yes. Yeah. And so they stopped at Service Food one year, and I took Dad down there for it.
You know what? I kind of do remember that.
And so you had to sing the Oscar Mayer Wiener theme to get the whistle. And so I really didn't know because it's been years since I heard it.
Yeah.
My dad rattled it out like that.
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay.
Here's your wiener whistle. Yeah.
Okay, my hot dogs got up first. And I just tried as hard as I could. She's like, close enough. And gave me one.
I remember somebody was asking me one time about, or something, maybe they were asking John, and of course he's the meat man. They were asking, well, let's see, they're making a sign at the store or something saying, well, Oscar Mayer, how do I spell Meyer? He said, just sing the song.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, I know. All right. Anyway, so that is going to be some fun. The first ever Weenie 500. It's going to be fun. It reminds me of those wiener dog races over in Vegas.
I love those.
I know. I've never been.
I went to the very first one. I was talking to one of the organizers. I was interviewing him for the show, and I'm like, hey, this. And we started talking. He goes, oh, you were there. What shirt did you get? I told him what shirt I had. And he goes, Oh, that was the first year.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently every year they've got a
now
different
they've got
shirt.
hundreds of participants. It's got
Oh yeah,
it
was pretty small when I did it.
I always, you know, there's a
it.
sign that I drive by on the corner just as I get to the lake every day, and there's a sign about the wiener dog races, and I always thought it was a joke.
No,
but it's for real, and it's gotten to be huge, really big deal.
Yeah, it's the world wiener dog
race. It is. That's really funny. All right, well, here's your feel-good story of the day. If you like an Oreo and you want to try something different, I think this sounds kind of good. Selena Gomez actually collaborated with Oreo for a limited edition flavor inspired by horchata, featuring chocolate cinnamon cookies. Maybe? Set to be released on June 9th, Gomez aimed to evoke familiar childhood memories. She worked diligently to perfect the flavor profile before partnering with Oreo, which also supported her Rare Impact Fund. So they collabed on this. But anyway, horchata is one of her favorite things, and it's chocolate cream with some cinnamon. There's some cinnamon and sugar on the cream that's in between the chocolate cookies. I don't know. For science, we'd give it a spin, wouldn't we?
I'd eat anything for science except squash.
Just about. Not anything.
not just anything. I was looking to see if I could find my Wienermobile photos, but I got too many photos on Facebook. So it's
yeah.
I was hoping I could just skip right to it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find it and show it tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, just about ready to wrap up a Wednesday on the show, so you made it to the middle of the work week. And I think we're going to actually see the sunshine tomorrow.
I'm hoping.
I'm hoping too.
I'm really, really hoping.
It's been pretty dreary. So I think everybody is up for a little bit of sunshine. Hopefully that comes tomorrow. So thank you for joining us on the show today. It's brought to us today and every day by Fergus Falls Monument Company and by Pioneer Care. So we hope you have a great Wednesday. This Memorial Day, honor a life that touched yours with a living tribute from Nature's Garden World in Fergus Falls.